Hi everyone, my name is Charlene. We are now on lesson 9 and we will be learning about motivation. For this lesson, we have 4 learning objectives. First is to understand the meaning of motivation, its etymology, and the different factors affecting it. Second is to determine the difference between intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. Third is to discuss the different theories on factors affecting intrinsic motivation. And fourth is to explain the importance of understanding students' diversity in motivation. So, what is motivation? Motivation is one of the driving forces behind human behavior. It is what makes people move to do things they do. Having motivation energizes a person to act in service of a goal. It encompasses the desire to continue striving toward meaning, purpose, and a life worth living. Motivation is defined as a process in which activities are started, directed, and continued so that physical or psychological needs or wants are met. It came from the Latin word movere, which means to move. People mostly mistake ability and motivation. Ability refers to what a person can do, while motivation refers to the initiation, direction, intensity, and persistence of a behavior. Now, a learner's motivation is a primary factor that influences both the performance and the success of a learner in school. Your learner's level of motivation is shown in his or her choice of action, intensity, and persistence of effort. Motivated students usually show these characteristics. They have positive attitudes towards school and describe school as satisfying. They persist on difficult tasks and cause few management problems. And they process information in depth and excel in classroom learning expertise. Let us see the difference between intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. Intrinsic motivation is when you engage in a behavior because you find it rewarding. You're performing an activity for its own sake rather than from the desire for some external reward because the behavior itself is already a reward in itself. So, for example, you're participating in a sport because you find the activity enjoyable, or you're cleaning up your room because you like tidying up. On the other hand, extrinsic motivation is when you are motivated to perform or engage in an activity because you want to earn a reward or avoid punishment. For example, you're participating in a sport to win awards, or you're competing in a contest to win a scholarship. Now let's move on to the theories on factors affecting motivation. These theories are combined to look for the origin of intrinsic motivation. Let us start with the attribution theory, which is concerned with how individuals interpret events and how this relates to their thinking and behavior. It assumes that people try to determine why people do what they do, and when a person is seeking to understand why another person did something, may attribute one or more causes towards that behavior. For example, if we see an athlete win a marathon, we reason that she must be very fit, highly motivated, have trained hard, and that she must have all of these qualities to win. A three-stage process underlies an attribution. First, the learner must be able to perceive or observe the behavior. Second, the learner must believe that the behavior was intentionally performed. And third, the learner must determine if they believe that the other person was forced to perform the behavior or not. And it differs from one another in 3 ways. First is the locus of control that has 2 poles, which is the internal versus external locus of control, stability that captures whether causes change over time or not, and controllability that contrasts causes one can control, such as skill or efficacy, from causes one cannot control, such as aptitude, mood, others' actions, and luck. Here is a table showing the relationships among the dimensions of attribution. There are 4 attributions: ability, effort, luck, and task difficulty. Ability and effort are located inside the learner. Ability is stable, effort is unstable. Ability is out of control of the learner, while effort is in control of the learner. Luck and task difficulty are located outside the learner. Luck is unstable, task difficulty is stable, and both of them are out of the learner's control. Let's talk about self-efficacy, which is the belief that one has the necessary capabilities to perform a task, fulfill role expectations, or meet a challenging situation successfully. In this theory, the secret to enhance a learner's intrinsic motivation is to enhance their sense of self-efficacy. They were able to identify 4 self-efficacy enhancing strategies. First is to make sure learners master basic skills. Second is to help the learners make noticeable progress on difficult tasks. Third is to communicate confidence in learners' abilities through words and actions. And fourth is to expose them to successful peers. Other recommendations for motivation theories are: first, provide competence promoting feedback. Second is to promote mastery on challenging tasks. Third is to promote self-comparison rather than comparison with others. And fourth is to be sure that errors occur within an overall context of success. Here's a table showing the influence of self-efficacy on motivation. You can see here the difference of traits or qualities between high self-efficacy learners and low self-efficacy learners. High self-efficacy learners accept challenging tasks, expend high effort when faced with challenging tasks, they persist when goals aren't initially reached, they believe they can succeed, they discard unproductive strategies, they perform higher than low efficacy students of equal ability. Low self-efficacy learners are the opposite. Now we'll move on to self-determination and self-regulation theories. A learner's sense of determination is demonstrated in his capacity for self-regulation, and self-regulation refers to one's ability to master himself. Here are the indicators of self-regulation. Set standards for oneself, monitor and evaluates one's own behavior against such standards, and impose consequences on oneself for one's success or failures. According to Omron, the following processes are involved in self-regulated learning. First is goal setting, then planning, attention control, application of learning strategies, self-monitoring, and self-evaluation. Let's move on to the choice theory that was written by Bob Sulo in 2007, and according to him, the choice theory is a biological theory that suggests that we are born with specific needs that we are genetically instructed to satisfy. All of our behavior represents our best attempt at any moment to satisfy our basic needs or genetic instructions. There are 4 basic psychological needs that must be satisfied to be emotionally healthy. First is belonging or connecting, which motivates us to develop relationships and cooperate with others. Without this, we would only strive to be independent. Power or competence is more than just a drive to dominate. It is gained through competence, achievement, and mastery. Our generic instruction is to achieve, master new skills, and to be recognized for our accomplishment. Freedom. As humans, we are motivated to be free and to choose, because having choices is part of what it means to be human and is one reason our species has been able to evolve, adapt, and thrive. And of course, fun. Each time we learn something new, we are having fun, which is another universal human motivator. It is our playfulness and our sense of self-discovery that allows us to learn as much as we do. Maslow's hierarchy of needs is a motivational theory in psychology comprising a 5-tier model of human needs, often depicted as hierarchical levels within a pyramid. So these are the needs that we have: physiological needs, safety needs, which fall under the basic needs, belongingness and love needs, and esteem needs, which fall under the psychological needs, and of course the self-actualization, which falls under the self-fulfillment needs. Now let's move on to the goal theory. It states that goal setting is essentially linked to task performance, and that specific and challenging goals along with appropriate feedback contributes to higher and better task performance. Motivation towards goal-oriented learning is influenced by the following variables: mastery goals, which is understanding of concepts and content and application to tasks. Performance goals focuses on performance relative ability. Here is a table which shows a comparison of mastery-focused and performance-focused classrooms. For the mastery-focused students, success is defined as mastery improvement, value is placed on effort and improvement, reason for satisfaction is meeting challenges and hard work, teacher oriented towards student learning, views of error is a normal part of learning, reasons for effort is increased understanding, ability to view as incremental, alterable, and reasons for assessment is to measure progress toward present criteria and provide feedback. On the other hand, performance focus is more on grades and doing better than others, demonstration of high ability, and student performance, and errors are a basis for concern and anxiety. Ability to view is an entity or it is fixed. And the reasons for assessment is to determine grades and compare students to one another. Now, self-determined goals are personally relevant and enhances a learner's motivation. Goal setting is a motivational tool which is effective when the following major elements are present: goal acceptance, specificity, challenge, performance monitoring, and performance feedback. Now, there is what we call the SMART goals. It is necessary that our learners are able to accept and own our lesson objectives, and that our lesson objectives must be SMART. It should be specific, measurable, attainable, result-oriented, and time-bound and challenging. Now, students who by themselves are already as diverse also differ in motivation. This may be traced to differences in age, developmental stage, gender, socioeconomic, and cultural background. Our students' motivational drives reflect the elements of the culture in which they grow up: their family, friends, school, church, and books. To motivate them for learning, it's best if we, the teachers, employ differentiated approaches. There are two principles that need to be considered regarding social and cultural influences on motivation. First, the learners are most likely to model the behavior they believe are relevant to the situation. Second, learners develop greater efficacy for a task when they see others like themselves performing the task successfully. According to Amrod, students need models who are similar to themselves in terms of race, cultural background, socioeconomic status, gender, and if applicable, disability. So that would be all for today. Thank you for listening. I'll see you in my next video. And remember, people with goals succeed because they know where they're going, according to Earl Nightingale. Have a nice day.